You won't believe this, but we got new information on Hunter Biden. Believe it or not, Hunter Biden tried to write sex club memberships and prostitutes off on his taxes. That's what triggered the IRS investigation into Hunter Biden's taxes. Just watch what Chairman James Comer of the House Oversight Committee has to say.
Well, it's going to be more than that. If you look at all the money that the Bidens took in, I mean, that's going to exceed $20 million. The way they set these up in these shell companies, these LLCs, they were deducting basic living expenses as business write-offs when there was no business. There was no legitimate business. For example, Owasco was supposedly Hunter Biden's law firm account, but he didn't practice law. But that was an LLC for his law firm. That's where he wired money. There's suspicious activity reports where he wired to escort services. He paid his sex club dues in California, and he was paying for the pornography site, which is what triggered the IRS investigation to begin with. It was an audit not of Hunter Biden, but of a pornography site. So this was his law firm, supposedly, wiring all this money. He was writing that off as basic business expenses. You can't write those things off as business expenses. So they got all this money in, and they did not pay a penny of taxes on it.
Right. Wow. Okay. So there you go. It's hard to believe, but Hunter Biden apparently was busily trying to write off sex club memberships and prostitutes on his income taxes. And that may end up being the straw that brings down the entire Biden crime family. And as amazing as it might seem, I guess if you live in the cloistered world of the Bidens, where anything goes, that you can travel around on Air Force Two, as he did with as vice president, around the world with his dad, 5 times to China, bring home all sorts of clients and money from China that obviously that we now know some of that went to the big guy himself, and think, well, I can, through my law firm, I can write off as a business expense sex club memberships and prostitutes. Only in the Biden world, only in the Biden world would that ever fly, folks. This is, we're going to see a lot more come out. And I'm going to try over the next few days to just give you some snippets, some small snippets. So, because there's so much information that I don't want people to get overwhelmed. But just know this, if you know nothing else, if you try to write off a sex club membership or prostitutes on your taxes, it isn't going to go well. And for Hunter Biden, the IRS wasn't allowed to follow up and actually take him to task, but they won't be constrained if you try that kind of shenanigans. So avoid the sex clubs, avoid the prostitutes, because you aren't Hunter Biden and you can't get away with it. This is Rick Manning, Americans for Limited Government. Stay